It's Tuesday, July the 23rd, 2024. Welcome to the Daily Article Podcast. I'm Chris Elkins with the Denison Forum, narrating today's article written by Dr. Jim Denison. But for a quote-unquote gust of wind, America could have two different presidential candidates than we expected just 10 days ago. Former President Donald Trump came within 2 millimeters of dying on July the 13th, according to a security expert who noted that Mr. Trump was just a gust of wind away from being assassinated. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle told lawmakers yesterday that the shooting was her agency's most significant operational failure in decades. "We are fully cooperating with ongoing investigations," she added. "We must learn what happened." On the other side of the aisle, the Biden campaign has officially renamed itself Harris for President. The Associated Press is reporting this morning that Vice President Kamala Harris has secured the support of enough Democratic delegates to become her party's presidential nominee. She raised $81 million in the first 24 hours since President Biden ended his bid and endorsed her. Numerous party leaders, most notably Nancy Pelosi, have endorsed her as well. Various options for her running mate are already being discussed. Not since 1976 have we seen a presidential election without a Biden, Bush, or Clinton on the ticket, assuming Hillary Clinton is not nominated for vice president. If the political turmoil of these days is stressing you, you're not alone. In an American Psychiatric Association poll, nearly 3/4 of respondents said they're feeling anxious about the election. Another poll found that 40% are depressed or anxious about the election season, and a similar share said that they are checked out by the amount of news and social media attention on politics and the upcoming election. Our politics are more visceral than ever and thus more violent. Jonathan Tobin, editor-in-chief of the Jewish News Syndicate, explains that our toxic political environment, quote, starts with the bifurcation of the press and the way social media dominates our lives, reinforcing the belief that our opponents, quote, are not well-meaning neighbors and compatriots who are simply mistaken, but evil people who intend to do us harm, end quote. Now, due in large part to the splintering of the media, Tobin warns that we have a culture in which the most strident beliefs prevail over those that advocate for a gentler approach to differences. Accordingly, very few people trust the media or what anyone who isn't on their side says. Until the media and politicians cease characterizing their opponents as beyond the pale, in Tobin's view, things will continue to get worse before they can start getting better, end quote. Political divisions are nothing new in American history. In Bret Baier's To Rescue the Constitution, George Washington and the Fragile American Experiment, he describes the fragmentation and chaos that threatened the future of our nascent republic before our Constitution forged a united nation from disparate states and agendas. From that time to this, as commentator Nick Bryant notes, the country has been in a perpetual state of division. How could it be otherwise? Our original 13 colonies spanned a geography and sociology larger and more diverse than most countries in the world. We then grew to become the 4th largest nation on Earth by landmass. Our population is composed of nearly 1,500 race and ethnicity groups. We should obviously not be surprised when differences of opinion and worldview divide us. But the framers of our republic knew something we do well to recall. According to James Hudson of the Library of Congress, they believed that Republican government requires a moral citizenry and that religion is necessary for morality. Hudson suggests that this belief was so widespread that it should be called the, quote, founding generation syllogism. And not just any religion, except for about 2,000 Jews, early Americans of European descent identified as Christians. In a 1799 election sermon, Jedediah Morse preached a sermon in which he observed that it is, quote, to the kindly influence of Christianity, we owe that degree of civil freedom and political and social happiness which mankind now enjoys, end quote. I'm not claiming that the founders were practicing Orthodox Christians, but I agree with Reverend Morris that they respected our faith and its moral teachings, and I believe that the kindly influence of Christianity should promote civil and political and social happiness across our nation still today. As we noted yesterday, when we experience the living Lord in a transforming way, we become more like Him as evidenced in Romans 8:29. We manifest from Galatians 5 verse 22 the fruit of His Spirit, the first of which is love. As a result, we know from 1 John 4 verse 19, we love because He first loved us. This is the only way we can obey Jesus' mandate in Matthew 5 verse 44 to love your enemies. It is the only power by which we can love one another just as I have loved you, as instructed in John 13 verse 34. It is the only means by which we can follow 1 Corinthians 16:14's admonition to let all that you do be done in love. When we love as we are loved, referencing James 4 verse 11, we will not slander or demean those with whom we disagree on social media or any other way. We will intercede for our leaders as instructed in 1 Timothy 2 verses 1 and 2, especially when we disagree with them. We will obey God's command in Titus 3 verse 2 to speak evil of no one, to avoid quarreling, to be gentle, and to show perfect courtesy toward all people. Imagine the difference in America if every American Christian heeded this call. Let's do so today. I am praying for Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, and the other leaders of our parties to embrace and champion from 2 Timothy 2 verse 15, biblical morality in their lives and through their influence. From Ephesians 4:15, to promote the healing of our nation by speaking the truth in love, and from Galatians 5 verse 13, to be servants who put the well-being of our country ahead of their personal agendas. And I am asking the Holy Spirit to help America's Christians experience Christ so fully that we love everyone He loves as He loves us. Will you join me?
The Denison Forum podcast exists to discuss timely news with biblical insight and practical applications. And right now, there is nothing more timely than the upcoming election. That's why on August 1st, we're launching our new series called Politics Discerned Differently. Join us in our 8-week series as we discuss all things election 2024. We'll discuss topics like separation of church and state, how to be civil with uncivil people, election fairness, and even answering the questions like, is America a Christian nation? If you're not already following the Denison Forum podcast, do that now so you don't miss this upcoming series starting August 1st. Thank you for joining us.